What is up, everybody? We are back. We're jumping in. We got a nice DFS slate, and I'm your host, Tyler Wiemann. As always, come join us at LineStar. LineStar app, your one-stop shop for all your DFS, prop betting, best ball needs. Come join us. We're right at the best season for DFS for the whole year, also with props as well. $39.99 per month gets you access to all we do, the props, the DFS for all sports on all platforms. You get the apps, you get the websites, all the projections for all sports we cover. You can cancel at any time, no questions asked. And if you want the full year of football, $240 for the entire year, $20 a month, best deal there is. Now, let's dig into it. So as always, we're going to start off by going through our perfect lineups from yesterday and the winning lineups from both FanDuel and DraftKings as well. Brandon, thank you for joining us. Absolutely appreciate it. Asia Tate, Byron, not sure what you're saying there, but I appreciate you being here. Definitely appreciate it. Now, our perfect lineup on DraftKings, we had Ranger Suarez and Merrill Kelly. Both looked very good yesterday and both went absolutely nuts. Then we had a two-man Texas stack and all one-offs to round it out. 47.7K salary, 237.1 was that perfect lineup score. And then the winning lineup went to Mufasa, 16, who had Rodgers and Suarez, two pay-up options, but both of them went nuts. Then we have two-man Baltimore, two-man Atlanta, one off of Miami, and one off of Kyle Teal, two Mets there to round it all out. Yes, Gil ticket. It does look like there is a lot of leverage to be had, and we will for sure get into that. How? Let's get it. It was a decent weekend for me. I hope it was a good weekend for you on Friday. Once again, another shot on goal, but no takedowns for me as I got, I think it was 5th, but we're going to get to it. Asia Tate, I will get into the home run call in our props video, which will come out probably about 30-45 minutes after this. That will also be live. So stick around and I will schedule that right when we're done here. Now, getting over to our FanDuel perfect lineup, we had Suarez, two-man Texas stack over here and all one-offs as well. 33.7, 303. 3 was that score, with the winning lineup going to Jane, 17-24. They had Merrill Kelly. Kelly went nuts. And then they had the very unorthodox, absolutely unstacked lineup. Now, we every now and then do see winners coming from this type of lineup. But it's like half the field that does this type of lineups, or maybe 40% of the field now. And we see a winner with it very, very rarely. That should go to show you to not make this kind of lineup. Now, when it hits, congrats to them. I honestly have no idea how you even end up on all the right players. Their only stack is a two-man of Montgomery and Vargas. Everything else is one-off. Congrats to them. But they would have been better off just making a big parlay with everybody overproducing than entering DFS if this is how you're going to build without any correlation. But nonetheless, congrats to them. They won 10K. Love to see it. Love seeing winners. Hope you do something fun with the money. Now, let's jump in to the slate of the day. And as always, we'll start with pitchers and get into stacks later. We're going to do pitchers on both sites. Now, our high-owned pitcher, we got Hunter Green and Jacob deGrom, Tariq Skubal. 3 pricey pitchers, three very good pitchers. Really hard to get away from any of them, but we will break them down, try and show some pluses of there, some minuses going this way. Hunter Green, 3.1 FIP over his last 20, been just dominant with a 30.6% K rate. Over the last 5, very similar, 3.07, 28% K rate. His issue, fly balls. He's in very home run worthy Dodger Stadium tonight. Home runs get played up a little bit there. The wind's slightly blowing out, mid 70-degree temps. He lets a lot of fly balls, but very little hard contact, and that's the important thing here. But the Dodgers hit the ball very, very hard. Over the last 150 games versus righties, a 195 ISO is incredibly high. Now, they have been, struggling a little bit as of late, the 165 ISO, but all in all, it's not an easy spot versus Hunter Green. I don't mind a little bit, but of DeGrom, Skubal, Green, he probably has the toughest matchup on the slate of these pay-up options. I don't love it. I'm going to get some. I do think 9K is too cheap for him, and I think his ownership, because it's the Dodgers, ends up coming down a little bit, but I don't totally love the spot. I'm going to get some. Not going to go overboard. For my Padres, I absolutely hope Hunter Green runs the table, no hits them, perfect game, whatever, as we're in a very tight NL West battle. But all in all, I think the Dodgers probably get a few runs on him and keep him from being in the perfect lineup. Jacob deGrom versus the Angels. Very boom-bust spot, 3.2 FIP over his last 20, 4.22 over the last 5, 31% K rate over that span versus 28 over the last 20. Now, we have a game total of only 7.5 here. He is allowing a lot of fly balls with a lot of hard contact and a high rate of barrel balls to batted balls. I think deGrom is in a good spot. But this is about as boom bust of a spot as you get, as the Angels hit the ball very hard. They can hit home runs, but they strike out a lot as well. So I love going with some deGrom, but I also don't hate the idea of having some stacks against deGrom. Gil Ticket can't wait to stack against these high-owned pitchers. There's big time leverage in it. I don't mind taking some stacks of the Dodgers versus Hunter Green. He can allow some home runs, and if that happens, you're moving up the leaderboard quick. Same goes with the Angels. So with deGrom, I like him. I'm going to have some of him. I will have more of him than say Hunter Green. 29.8% combined K rate is just incredibly high. The ceiling is huge in this spot. Therefore, I am going to have some. But I also don't mind a couple Angel stacks if you're making a portfolio of lineups. And last but not least of the three high-owned guys, Tarik Skubal. Tarik Skubal has been just absolutely incredible with a 2.11 FIP, 35% K rate. His last 5, 3.41 FIP. He's been struggling, and he has a 3.41 FIP with a 29% K rate. I don't care that he's not quite himself right now. I'm all in on Skubal. I don't care that it's the best hitting weather on the slate, that Oakland can hit the ball hard. He's the best pitcher in the game right now. And 10.7K is not high enough for him. We have a 26.67 point projection on him. There's strikeout upside. Angels can definitely do well. But I side the Skubal side of this thing, and only 20% owned at 10.7K is too cheap for me on both. Now, I don't mind, having some A stack as well, but I'm very, very much side with Skubal. If they can't hit the ball, the hitting weather just does not matter, and that is my big thing there. Now let's go to Cam Schlittler, 7.7K, 15-point projection, consensus is 16. And I'm fine if you want to go here. I don't love the spot. 7.7K is a little pricey for me for 4.65 FIP and a 4.4 FIP. Mid-20s K rate. StatCast data is a little scary, almost 36% hard contact, high barrel balls to batted. And the splits aren't in his favor either. Washington's been hitting righties well, so I don't love the spot. Now let's get into some pivots. Scherzer's there too. If you want to go to Scherzer, he is not one of my pivots, but I don't totally hate it. He's been pitching better recently, and the ceiling is high enough at 8.3K. Now, Christopher Sanchez is my first pivot. 2.48 FIP over his last 20, 2.4 over the last 5. K rates in the mid-20s. StatCast data is great. The Mets, however, have been hitting lefties very well lately. That is the only concern here. Outside of that, I absolutely love this spot. The other thing to note, 44% ground balls. We do have like 10-mile-an-hour winds blowing out at Citi Field today. The ball stays on the ground. It doesn't matter. So I don't care about the winds quite as much with a pitcher like Sanchez on the mound. And he just has a giant ceiling. When he really gets it going, that K rate goes up to like 30%, and he can hit you, those 30-plus scores. Absolutely. It's a very interesting spot. I'm going to get to some Sanchez, and I think he's going a little overlooked right now. 9.5K for Joe Ryan, we got to bring up with these type of numbers. 3.3 FIP over his last 20 with a 27.7% K rate. His StatCast data is always ugly. The splits aren't great, but he's just too good of a pitcher to totally ignore, and that's kind of what the field is doing. Now, versus Toronto, they don't strike out a ton, so that is a little bit of a worry, and that's probably, with the splits, part of the reason why he is being ignored by the field, but he's too good of a pitcher not to consider in this spot, so I got to bring him up. At only 9,500, I'm fine getting some. Jose Soriano at 5.7K. We already talked about the over-under, the game total being extremely low in this game. It's down to 7. It was 7.5 earlier today. But this is a guy that has a 3.67 FIP over his last 20, 4.84 over the last 5. He's 5.7K. We had a string of games where he was putting 30-plus points up. You don't get that type of ceiling at 5.7K very often. Now, the Rangers have an okay offense, have been hitting a little bit recently, but they don't really scare me too much. 53% ground balls too. The ball stays on the ground. It is, some hard contact allowed. He doesn't allow many stolen bases. So those speed guys for Texas will have a little bit harder time, getting into scoring position. All in all, I think this is an interesting spot. And at 5.7K and going low owned, he needs to be looked at a little bit. He's also done well versus Texas in the past. So I'm fine with some Jose Soriano here. And then Bryce Miller, 7K versus my Padres. I hate stacking against the Padres, especially with the righty on the bump. As Padres versus righties, we've talked about it. It's a great spot. But 7K for a pitcher that should be 9K is too cheap to overlook. Now, he has been straight up bad lately. 6.7 ERA FIP over the last 5 with a 9 ERA. Super low K rate at 11%, but he's usually around 23. Tons of hard contact. I get it. It is a very, very scary spot. Now, he had made one start since June, back from the IL. He should be back in this. I'm going to give him a little bit of a benefit of the doubt. Maybe he was struggling with an injury his last few starts. Then his first start back, I don't want to hold too much to him, but all in all, I think this is an interesting spot. At 7K, you're getting a pitcher that should be closer to 9K, and the splits, they're fine. Padres are a solid offense, but I don't mind getting to some of them. He's also at home in a very pitcher-friendly park. 7K is a little bit too cheap for me. It's another spot, though, that I don't mind stacking against the pitcher because he's been so bad recently, and the Padres can put together some real big innings. Now, let's get over to FanDuel. Our high-owned pitchers over here, Skubal, DeGrom, Sanchez. Those are the three I think should probably be the highest owned, but don't forget about Woodruff. I do think he's a little too pricey over here. And then Hunter Green at 10.4K. And if you want to go all the way down to 6.5K, there's Bryce Miller there, who could easily go 6 innings, have 6 Ks, give up 0 to 2 runs, and at 6,500, give you, high 40s, maybe low 50s in fantasy value. That's just too cheap to not consider. And then you can just stack those bats. I think it's very interesting. Brandon likes Oviedo. He is a little sneaky. I don't mind the spot versus the Cardinals. I was actually looking at it earlier. Our good old alert score, 4-star on him. Nice pitcher park. St. Louis versus righties hasn't been good. The 4.94 FIP over the last 20% K rate, but over the last 5, that K rate's up to 26.5. Definitely has some interest. A lot of fly balls, but very little hard contact, so that doesn't worry me too much. I agree. He is a little sneaky. Don't mind some. However, more so a DraftKings play to me than FanDuel, just because we do need a little bit more ceiling on FanDuel on such a big slate. Now, let's get over to some stack attacks. Josh, you're absolutely welcome. Thank you for showing up. I do appreciate it. And our high-owned stack, we got Yankees versus Brad Lord. So Yankees, huge favorites, minus 240 favorites, 9 total, which is tied for the highest. There's hard winds blowing out. Brad Lord hasn't been great, but 4.04 FIP isn't too bad either. The bullpen behind him, though, is terrible. If he doesn't go long, the Yankees start to look very, very interesting. No surprise seeing them being this high-owned. Royals versus Shane Smith. Royals been hitting very well, especially the pass squatch. Vinny P just getting it done over and over the last really month or 3 weeks or so. Don't mind going with some Royal stacks as well. Our high projected stacks, we got Detroit versus JT Ginn. This is one of my favorite spots. JT Ginn, 5.09 FIP over the last 5, 4.71 over the last 20, allowing a high fantasy point per plate attempt. The bullpen behind him isn't good. The splits are solid. Definitely very interesting spot to me for these Detroit bats. Arizona versus Woodruff, not the most comfy spot, but if I get 1 or 2, I'm fine with it. It's too good of an offense not to have consider a little bit, but it is a very tough spot. Value play, Texas versus Soriano. Soriano is a FIP of 4.84 over the last 5. That alone gives me some interest with the quality of bats for the cheap prices. I don't mind a little bit of Texas, but I'm not going to have very much. Pitt versus McGreevy. McGreevy has been solid. I don't love the Pitt spot. It's another spot where if I get a couple of them, I'm fine, but I'm not trying to get much. High ceiling plays. We got Mets versus Sanchez. Mets have been hitting well. That is the whole reason to go there. You don't get much leverage going with the Mets versus Sanchez because he's not one of the highest owned pitchers, but they are a very good offense going low owned. I don't mind getting a little bit. Philly versus Senega. Senega's been struggling lately. 6.65 FIP, 5.25 ERA, high whip. He's just been struggling with command, and that can really bite you going against a very good offense in Philly. And for that reason, I absolutely have interest in Philly. It's also 10-mile-an-hour winds blowing out. I think it's a good spot to get different with low ownership. Our high leverage, we got Mets all over it. Toronto versus Joe Ryan. Also Joe Ryan, he's a pitcher that lets some hard contact and lets some fly balls go. So when it goes bad for him, he allows 2-3 home runs. That's the type of pitcher you like to stack against. So if I get some Toronto stacks, I'm absolutely fine with it. The chance is there for those big games. I probably prefer the smaller stacks for Toronto than the big ones, but hey, a lot can happen when you let some home runs. Now, our high team totals of the night. 5.3 for Yankees over Brad Lord. Detroit at 5.1 versus JT Ginn. No surprise, these are the two of the higher owned stacks that project both the best. They're in great spots. Milwaukee first versus Erod. I don't mind the spot. Erod's a little boom bust. So it's an interesting one for me. Don't mind it whatsoever, and bullpen behind him is bad. And it's worse than bad. It's horrible. KC versus White Sox, interesting. Seattle versus Sears. They've seen Sears a lot. Now, Sears has changed his pitch mix a little bit, but not all that much. I'm fine stacking some Seattle versus JP Sears. And then Dodgers versus Hunter Green. I think you have to consider some Dodgers. Let's see. We got King Raheem here. Dodgers in large field, but I don't like it. Banking completely on an erotic green game, which can happen. Absolutely. I think in a large field contest, I will side with the very good offense, even if it's a very good pitcher on the mound, a lot just because the offense ends up going under owned. Definitely interested in them. White Sox versus Noah Cameron. Don't love it. Don't mind a little bit. Padres versus Bryce Miller. He hasn't been himself. That alone makes me interested. I don't mind a little bit. And Padres versus righties is something always very interesting. We talked about stacking against Joe Ryan, stacking against Senega already. And Emmett Shaheen, we didn't talk about as a pitcher to consider, but I don't hate it. He has put some quality work out there lately. And I kind of like stacking against Schlittler there with Washington a bit. So that's going to do it for us today. Quick recap stack-wise. Philadelphia, super interested in. Toronto, San Diego, Dodgers, Seattle, Royals, Milwaukee, Tigers, Yankees. Can't deny them, but those are my favorite ones. That will do it for us today, guys. Hope you guys have a good one. We will be back with more probably about 11:15 for the prop show. Appreciate everybody joining us. See you soon. Talk to y'all later. Bye.